ways to like follow up with agents, like in a non-pushy way, seeing if Real might actually support their goals and really leaning into the One Real culture. So before we go into like best practices and content ideas and what to do when an agent reaches out and that follow-up strategy, I want to go over the Real structure for a revenue share, and then kind of just want to dive in on the mindset and approach and share with you more. You might have heard already Real agents talk about the One Real culture, and I feel like that's really, really important. And I wanted to also share just like important compliance guidelines that I think you should be very aware of if this is an avenue that you want to explore. Okay, so first let's talk the basics. Let's talk about the revenue share model. So every agent gets a landing page. And if you don't know where to find this, let me know. But basically every agent gets a landing page that breaks down, let's see if I have it on this computer. I don't know if I do. That basically breaks down the structure of Real, like the 85-15 split, the $12,000 cap. If you don't know where your landing page is, let me know. But I'm going to share my screen really quickly and show you that this part is listed on there, and it breaks down the revenue share model. Can you guys see this? Oh wait, I can't see you, so I don't know. If someone could just come on audio real fast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, all good.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Okay, so this chart right here, has anyone looked at this before? Do you guys like know what exactly this means and what this entails and how to be able to explain it to other people?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it.
Okay.
Stevie, is this in reason? Like, is this like when we use the app, this is something that we can forward to somebody right from the app, right?
Yes.
You got this?
What?
Is that where you got this? Is it from? Because I think I have it on the app, the Reason app.
Yes. So you can, there's a landing page that Real gives everybody, and it has like your name and the website, and it's like, what is it? I haven't.
It says refer an agent, I think.
Yeah, and
all right, that's what you're showing us. Okay.
It gives a breakdown of the complete structure of Real. So if people reach out to you, I feel like it's a really good basic information to give to them. And it's also the application, like where they go to apply for Real. So all of that is listed on there. Let me just find this page really fast because it's going to bother me. Okay, I got it right here. So each one of us has this page. And so I think it's really good for you to be familiar with it, because honestly, a lot of times the questions I get asked, I can just reference this page. So can you guys see this? I think you can, right?
No, I can't see it.
Here? Sorry, I need you to audio. Oh, you can't?
No, I don't see any.
No, we
I
just see you.
people.
All right,
now I can. Now it's good.
Okay, cool. So every one of us have this landing page with like our contact information in the corner. This is where an agent goes to apply for Real. But if you scroll down, it breaks down the basics of our structure, right? 85-15 split, what everything looks like. And then this is where I just have that chart about the revenue share. So each one of us has this. I just took a screenshot of this and had it on that page, but we can talk about it right here. So basically, anytime that you sponsor an agent into the brokerage, they're going to be technically in your tier 1. So let's say I sponsor Susie into Real, which basically they fill out this application, and on the application, they write down that Stevie Hahn sponsored them, right? So this person, Susie, would be considered in my tier 1. And basically what that looks like financially is, Real Broker is taking a cut of their commission, right? They're taking 15%. The agent gets to keep 85, Real takes 15%. And I'm able to make 5%. And so the most that I can make from an agent, from Susie, let's use Susie as an example, she's in my tier 1. The most that I can make off of Susie is $4,000. And the reason why that is capped is because Real's only collecting $12,000 from them in 1 year. And Real isn't collecting any more money from them after they've capped, right? Because the agent gets to keep 100% of their commission. So the most that I can make is $4,000 because beyond that, they're capped. Real's not collecting any more money. So in one anniversary year, you can make 5% of their commission, totaling a max of $4,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Sorry, I can't see y'all's faces, so I have to go back. Okay, then let's say Susie is on Instagram, wherever, YouTube, talking about Real Broker, and Susie starts bringing on people, right? It doesn't even involve you like whatsoever. People on their application when they join Real under the sponsorship, they're writing Susie's name. Well, now these people that Susie have sponsored into Real, those people are going to be in our tier 2. And what those numbers look like, and it just breaks it down from here, right? So it should be pretty self-explanatory moving on. But the people that Susie have sponsored into Real are in my tier 2, and I personally will make 4% off of those people. Susie's going to make 5%, but I'm going to make 4%. And the most I can make off of them up until they cap is $3,200. So you don't, you'll make the money off of them prior to them capping. So if they only have like 1 sale a year or 2 or 3, like you'll make that 5% off of them. You'll only stop making the money from them is once they cap because Real isn't collecting anymore. Allison, did I explain that okay?
Sorry to unmute myself. Yeah, no, that's perfect. I explain it the same way. So basically it's just that you can make a maximum of $4,000 off of your tier 1. So if you have someone who caps, then that is what you would make from their production that year. And I explain it comes from Real and not from the agent's dollar. So I think that's a point, and a really important thing, that it's not that Susie's paying you,
right?
Which is different than like if you were her mentor and and you signed a contract that you were assisting her with whatever, and that she was paying you a percentage from her own dollar. It's coming from Real.
Yes.
Is the do you want us to ask questions during it, or do you want us to put it in the chat?
Oh, I don't care. Let's chat. Yeah.
So is the tier 1 unlimited, or is there a cap on the amount of agents that we can have in our tier 1?
There is no cap on the amount of agents that you have in tier 1. No.
All right. Thank you.
Can I just say there is no cap on that. There's no limit. But in order to open up tier 2, you need 5 agents in your tier 1, and they need to be producing agents. And it used to be 10, and they moved it from 10 agents to 5. So now you just need 5 in your tier 1, and then it will unlock tier 2. And it's the same. There's a chart that you can find, and it tells you how many you need. Or if you go on the app, you can see where you are and what you need to open up the other ones. Or a lot of these questions too, if you ask the AI, Leo, that's like, because I'll forget like, all these little details, and then you can just ask, and Leo will also direct you to where you need to be. So, but yeah, you do need 5. So if you, let's say, if Stevie has Susie on, and then Susie brought her whole team over, and then Susie has 8 people under her, Stevie does not make anything off of Susie's people unless Stevie has 5 producing agents on her tier 1.
Got it. Thank you so much. That's a good explanation.
And to my understanding, what considers a producing agent, where you'll see it in the revenue share, which I can just show you. You guys can still see my screen, right? Or no?
Yeah, we can.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Basically, so like right here, we'll see Amy. These are the people who are unlocked, basically that they are producing agents. And to my understanding, what equals a producing agent is just if they've made at least $450. So it becomes unlocked, and that would be a producing agent to go towards that 5 people in order to unlock tier 2. So it breaks it down here on the chart. Like tier 1, can be as many agents that you sponsor. But in order to unlock tier 2, like what Allison mentioned, it notes here, you have to have 5 producing agents in order to unlock it. So I think it breaks it down. Okay, so here it is basically. My tier 2 is unlocked. So I need 8 more agents to unlock tier 3. So yours would look like, depending on how many people you have in your tier 1, it'll tell you like next tier 2, you need X amount of agents to unlock. So it's keeping track of everything for you and keeping you updated, which I feel like is kind of nice. Okay, so we can move on. I feel like the basic. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and okay, so a couple other things before we break into best practices is basically thinking about mindset and approach with this process. To me, I feel like it is a lot similar in my mind to working with buyers and sellers, where I just want to give, provide value, and if someone's not ready to buy or sell right now, like that's fine, right? You're like, I'm going to be in real estate. I'm not planning on quitting. So if you change your mind or you end up buying or selling a year or 5 years from now, like I still want to be that go-to resource for you. And in order to do that is like, you do have to build this relationship with them. You still need to connect with them. You need to provide value to them, keep in touch. So I kind of like to just have this mindset going into it. Like not everyone's going to be, just like when you guys made the switch to Reel, some people need some time. Some people need some nurturing. Some people need you to provide more value to them. And it's kind of the same thing with buyers and sellers. So just having that mindset ahead of time. And also like I just started diving into the revenue share model in August of last year. So I've been with Reel for over 2 years and I'm just now like getting into it. So I don't feel like I'm all knowing in all of this, but I am learning so much through this process. I watched which this is great. If you guys are into revenue share and you're wanting to learn more, there's an entire agent attraction series in the Reel Academy in the dashboard. So I have already binged like hours of content, like learning from other agents at Reel on their strategies and how they do this. And I can kind of, take a couple of those golden nuggets and make it my own. So I feel as though, this video isn't like all knowing or the guide or anything, but if you're interested in learning more, I just highly recommend checking those out. So as far as like this mindset, really focus on sharing value and not self-promotion. Like it's not about me or personal accomplishments. It's the same thing like with you when you're promoting your business on social media. Like I'm not trying to sell myself. I'm not trying to sell them on Reel. Instead, I'm trying to figure out ways to provide value, to highlight how Reel provides opportunity, collaboration, and growth for everyone who joins. And one of the things that I love, and honestly, everything that I'm mentioning is all things you can like be taking notes on and you can implement in your conversation when you're promoting on social media or when you get on a Zoom call or a coffee meetup with another agent. These are all things that you can be talking about. And that is, so we'll go back. Reel provides opportunity, collaboration, and growth for everyone who joins. And one of the things that I love about Reel is that it's like a fair playing field. Everybody starts off with the same split. There's no favorites. Everybody's an 85-15 split. Everybody has a $12,000 cap, and we can't play favorites. We can't offer agents exclusive trips, money sign-on bonuses, coaching, or anything special. Like when I joined Keller Williams, I did get that. I got a trip, I got money to sign on, I got a free office, I got marketing, I got all these things. And like they were playing favorites with me. And like that's kind of not fair for the next person who joins who gets nothing, right? And also, I do have conversations with agents who tell me like, a certain other virtual brokerage is offering them a trip to Cabo. And it's like, okay, cool. We're not going to do that here. I'm just going to be upfront. Like we're not offering any type of incentives. And if you like want to go to this brokerage to go on that trip and sign a contract to be with them for a year, 2 years or whatever, like totally understand. But something to think about is like, okay, after this trip, then what? Are they going to really help you grow your business and provide these other opportunities? Or is it really just like about the trip? So that's just something to make note, is like, it's a fair playing field with Reel. And people should see the value in Reel itself, not just also the person that introduces it to them. Because you might have heard like everyone talk about this one Reel culture. And honestly, it's what I really, really love about it, is that there aren't these downlines or silos. We are all here to collaborate and help each other. So I have people who reach out to me all the time asking me for help who I did not even sponsor. And I feel like it's part of our culture to help them and answer that question. And, of course, the people I sponsor, I have a vested interest in them. But if someone reaches out to somebody or someone that I sponsored, it should be okay for like Annie. Like I sponsored Annie into Reel, right? It should be part of our culture where Annie can reach out to anybody at Reel, and we're all going to help each other. And that's just one thing that I love about Reel, and it's something that you could talk about as well, if you like that too. So regardless of who sponsors you, we all support each other. Reel is a collaborative community, not a hierarchy, and the focus is to help each other grow and not a personal gain. Okay, last two quick things I want to mention before we get into best practices is I want to talk about some important compliance guidelines. So I talked on this a little bit about no incentives. Like we cannot offer money, coaching, mentorship, or perks for joining. We do have mentorship opportunities within Reel, which that is something completely different from sponsorship, and we can talk about that if needed. But basically, just know off the bat, when you're having conversations with agents, you cannot say like, hey, if you write my name down on this application, I'm going to do XYZ for you. You're not allowed to do any direct recruiting tactics, unlike some other brokerages. We cannot cold call, text, or email agents trying to get them on a call about Reel. So I'm sure we've all been recruited before, where we've had brokers call us, we've had brokers email us, where they're mass emailing everybody. You've had them invite them to events just so that they can talk about their brokerage. Like, we aren't allowed to do that here. And that's what I really love, because I feel like there's this stigma between another cloud-based brokerage where like they're so recruity, they're so salesy. And that was one of my concerns when I joined like over 2 years ago. I was like, I don't want to be seen that way. I don't want people to think like I'm just trying to recruit them. So, and then yes, again, like this ensures a fair playing field where agents join Reel based on their true value and not because of pressure or promises. So just wanted to mention those couple things. Does anyone have any questions about that before we dive into like all the fun stuff?
I do. So I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but I'm really
I want it to be like interactive and talking.
Okay. So, all right. So with the training that you said that we can't offer them anything special, how about like groups, like just a 1 week meeting with your tier 1? Are we allowed to do that? Or like what we're doing here, like in the Hive? Like, are we, what's the line between offering specialized training and having a specific, marketing group like this?
This is a great question. And Allison and I have conversations about this all the time, because I feel like there is this gray area. And basically what I have learned and been told is, when you're having conversations with agents about joining Reel, like Sharon, you can't tell people, hey, if you put me down as your sponsor, I'm going to offer you this week training for free. Like, that verbiage of offering an incentive would be frowned upon, I suppose. Because when an agent signs up and they fill out the application and they write in Sharon as their sponsor, there's also this like fine print of like, did this agent offer you anything specific, any type of incentive or coaching or anything like that? And so that verbiage, I think I wouldn't say, but I think there's other verbiage that you could use. So for me, when I'm talking with agents about the Hive, I do share, which I've had conversations with all of you about this, is that like I do share like, hey, I have this group, it's called the Hive, where I'm creating this like virtual community where I do a monthly mastermind call the first Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. Eastern, and you're welcome to hop on if you like. But I'm not saying like, hey, if you join me, you're going to have this exclusive group, because really on the back end, if someone reaches out to me and wants the link for this call, I'm going to give it to them, even if they're not with Reel. So I think you asked me, you're like, hey, is this only for people on Reel? And I was like, no, you can send it to anybody. So like, I'm going to do this regardless. And I always did this before even joining Reel, the mastermind call, right? So I think, let's say like someone joins you at Reel and you're like, hey, I'm going to do this week-long call, this mastermind, whatever it is that you're referencing, this Zoom call for a week, you're invited to hop on. Does that make sense?
It does. So it's more of like not a specific offer to one person, but keep it
Right.
open to anybody really who wants to join, but it's available.
Yeah.
People that are coming into your
Yeah.
called in Reel. It's not a downline, right?
Your network.
Downline, like not a word that they want us to use. So
Yeah.
group.
I think I like using network because it's like
Network. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Network.
Like, hey, my network and I, we get on a call every week.
That's
like,
good. Okay.
Or whatever it is that you're trying to do. I think we're having to like just take a second thought about exactly what we're needing to say, but it's really not that complicated.
Thank you.
Yeah. 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 And then as you know, if you decide, or people who watch the replay and they have more questions about this or they need more guidance on this, like reach out to me, because I really do like that it is being set up this way. And it really does emphasize like the one Reel culture. And yeah, so let's get into the fun stuff. Okay, so I just started talking about Reel in August of last year, right? And prior to that, I was with Reel for what, a year and a half. And I really only had a couple of people who I had sponsored who were in my network. And those people pretty much came to me from like, I did like 2 or 3 YouTube videos. So like, I didn't really have many people. And in August of last year, it was like July, August, where I was like, you know what? I think like this is such a great opportunity at Reel to make this additional stream of income. I think I'm going to dive in on this. So I started talking about Reel on my Instagram stories and on YouTube. And before that, like this is just an example of like nobody was reaching out to me before that, because it was like nobody knew I was with Reel. I wasn't talking about my experience with Reel. I wasn't doing any of these strategies yet. So it's like, if you're disappointed that you're not sponsoring agents, it's like, well, are you talking about it? Because I know I wasn't. So no one was reaching out to me. So now that I have, I'm going to share with you some of my approach, basically, where I'm just showing people mostly the behind the scenes of what it looks like at Reel. So I have a ton of ideas of things that I'm going to share with you, things that I've been doing. And I asked ChatGPT this morning for some ideas that were so good, and I'm going to do. So, and we could all do, because, you know, we're all different and have different audiences and whatnot. But I just thought they were really cool ideas. So basically, I share a lot of like the behind the scenes of what I'm doing. That starts with like meetups and collaborations with other agents. So this could be like other Zoom calls. It could be our call that we're on today, taking a photo of this, sharing it on your Instagram story, talking about it. But it could be local meetups that you do. So like Annie and I are going to meet up later today. We're going to go to some brokers opens. So of course I'm going to be creating content about that. I'm going to be highlighting the Women in the Hive Instagram page, because I want this to be, the Instagram page to be a platform for all of us to leverage, which is why like I collaborate with everybody on content on there. I don't want it to be like Stevie's group or Stevie's Instagram. I want it to be all of ours. So, you know, Annie and I are going to get out today. We're going to do a meetup. We're going to shoot some content, and I'm going to highlight the Women of the Hive so I can get that out there. And then other ways that you can talk about Reel is honestly just sharing your personal experience. Like, even if you're brand new, like, how was the onboarding process at Reel for you? What does that look like? You don't have to have been with the brokerage for so long to start talking about it. So share your personal experience. What are some wins? What has the support been like? What is your daily workflow? Like, this dashboard is so cool. And there's so many things that you could highlight. Like each little thing is something you could highlight on a different day. For example, and I'm going to show you some visuals too, but some of those examples are like the new tax planning that they are now offering us. Real Wallet and the Wealth Plan is really cool. Workvia, which is like our internal social platform where we're able to communicate with the other agents at Real. Real Academy, I honestly think is so good. I love the training so much, and I love the fact that I'm not having to drive to a brokerage, like figuring out timing. Now I have a child. I have to figure out childcare, driving, going through traffic, sitting through training. Like, what if I don't end up liking the training? And then a lot of times I'm like networking with agents there, and then I have to drive back, and there might be traffic. It's like a whole thing just to go to a 1-hour training. Where now with the training with Real Academy, this is all really great stuff to share about on Instagram or on your calls with agents, is you can see like our weekly calls that they have. They have about 4 to 6 calls a day in Real Academy, live calls. But a lot of them are the same day, same time, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. And so if there's a topic that you're like so excited to watch on Friday and you don't want to wait, well, you could go back and binge all the previous Fridays. So like when I went out to Tampa, I listened to like 4 hours of the Agent Attraction videos on my way out there. And it was like, I can listen to this when I have time, right? And that's just one thing that I absolutely love. So that's something that you could talk about is the benefits of Real Academy. And like I said, you can chat about the broker and admin support. You can talk about like, what does that look like on the platform? Now we can message, now we can call the brokers from the platform. And I feel like that's like one of the top questions I get asked on calls is, what does the support look like? Somebody who is not at a virtual brokerage, it feels so foreign to them of what this support could look like, because they might be used to a broker sitting in an office, and you just walk into the office and chat with them whenever or schedule a meeting with them. And so now things look a little bit different. And so I think highlighting there's so much support at Real. If you reach out and you know who to reach out to or how to do it, I think doing like a how-to video is really, really helpful. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT a bunch of ideas on what to post, and I love all of them. So one of the ideas was a client win and a way to like tie it into back to Real. So if you're at a closing or you are with a client, you could say, post a photo, and then this is like a text idea. Let me share my screen so you guys can like visually see this too, if you think that would be helpful. Another sweet closing in the books. The cool part, this lead came from a strategy I learned from inside Real. The training and support makes a huge difference. So just think of like, this is so unique. This is like another agent sees like your closing. It's like, oh, okay, what is this strategy? What is this training? This sounds like the training at their brokerage is actually helpful. Okay, some more ideas. Share what you wish you knew before joining Real. So, a photo, face the camera, or even doing a black screen with text. And it says, if I could go back, I'd tell myself this: the brokerage you're at does matter. The right environment can change how supported, creative, and motivated you feel in your business. And I didn't know that until I joined Real. And a question box. Thinking about switching brokerages, I'll share what helped me make the decision. Okay, this one could pertain to today, of like taking a selfie or a screenshot of our Zoom chat, and some text options that you could add over that. They gave us like a bunch of ideas. So we covered Real, revenue share, marketing, community. If you're curious about any of that, DM me and let's chat. Zooms like this remind me why I said yes to Real. The right people, the right vibe, and zero pressure. If we've ever had a Zoom together, I dare you to post a screenshot or a selfie. Okay, maybe not that one. But I thought these ideas were so good. Okay, and then a couple more. Share a tip you learned from Real Academy. So share a screenshot. This is so easy. Share a screenshot or screen recording of a training. Just finished a quick Real Academy training on agent attraction. So many good takeaways. If you haven't explored it yet, go check it out. It's a gold mine. Have you checked it out? And like doing a poll. And these are things that you could do like once a day, once every couple of days, once a week. You can make a schedule, like a content planning guide, and really incorporate all these things. Okay, last one.
Maybe, can I ask you a quick question?
Okay.
Do you find it's more valuable to have these as Instagram Reels or stories?
I like stories. Like I feel like a lot of conversations happen in Instagram stories if you're connected with a lot of realtors. I think it depends on what type of reel you're doing. Like, so I did do a reel about a mastermind call. It was like a couple mastermind calls ago where I showed a lot of like the behind the scenes and me getting ready for the call. Like, I think that would be more interesting than just like a screen share or a photo or something like that. So I think like it could work as a reel, but it just depends what that content exactly looks like. Okay, let's go over. I think there was just one more.
Okay, so
Behind
can you share, can you just like copy and paste that list and put it into the Hive Facebook group as well?
Okay, yeah, I'll do it in the Facebook group.
Awesome. I think it'd be helpful for us to, just like pull ideas off of it. I love this list.
Yeah. Okay, and then I'm just going to show you some really quick visuals, and then we'll get into the other stuff and wrap up. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to share my screen real fast because I basically took some examples of things that I have done, but also that other agents have done, and I want to share with you. In case you're a visual person and want to see some examples. So here's this first one right here that someone did a screenshot of the tax account that we now have, and just has some text over it. And I think it's interesting. Jenna Peterson, she shares a lot on Instagram, and sometimes, she talks about Reel. And I actually like redid this one. I thought it was really good inspo. And then she has this one here of like screenshots of agents who had joined her. You get this email that basically says, congratulations, so-and-so officially joined your network. So she basically just took screenshots of that and added it on a photo of herself, right? This one was a screenshot of a mastermind call where the person's thanking so-and-so for the great mastermind this afternoon. Planning is key. Goals, wealth, whatever it may be, time to level up. And this is a screenshot of the wealth plan. So I thought that was a really good idea. And then, we have our huge annual rise that's happening in Orlando this year. So I shared a screenshot of me like, okay, I've registered. I shared a screenshot. The emails that Reel sends, I don't know if they're weekly, but they're really good and full of a ton of information that you could screenshot and talk about. This was a screenshot of planning the business plan. So just showing an example of a training that you could share. This I thought was a really good one because it talked about the new debit card that they have and some of the benefits of it. And then I just always share this photo because like we're both wearing Reel shirts, and I'll put like a poll or a questions box over that. This was a reel that Erica and I did, how, you can have 2 sponsors. So we just wanted to put some content out mentioning that. This was a screenshot that someone shared of Leo and a lot of the perks that it has. And then this was another one of a screenshot of a new agent who had joined. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't know, you froze.
Oh my gosh, that is so weird. Okay, I hope it saves that recording. Oh wait, okay, sorry, it's still recording. That's so crazy. I don't know how that happened. Okay. Basically, I was done with the visuals, right? I think that's what we were talking about last.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So let's see. I
have a question.
Okay.
What are some ideas that you have about talking with agents we're doing transactions with? So like, okay, I just had an agent. It was just really cringy. So like we did a deal together. She had an assistant that I basically worked with the entire time. Hold on. My kids are literally doing a puzzle like right here. Yeah. So we did a transaction together, and it it was a good transaction, but I basically like worked with her assistant the entire time. Like I never met her in person. And she called me after, it was like a week after we had the closing, and she was like, "Oh, it was really nice to work together, and I'm sorry we never got to meet, but I'd love to chat with you if you were, ever thinking about moving brokerages." And I was like, "I'm good. Like, I'm here forever. Like, I found where I want to be." You can probably guess what brokerage it was just from like, I don't know. So I love to have like authentic conversations with people who like are really like, I did have like Shauna, we did a deal together, and then it was like a year later, she ended up moving over. And so like, how do you have more? I don't want to come off as like trying to poach someone, or I don't know, there's just like cringy conversation that people have. There are agents that like I really did love working with, and I think they would definitely benefit from moving over to Real if it makes sense for them. So I love any tips from like what other people are doing, kind of bringing up the conversation if they are not bringing it up without being like pushy or just making it weird.
Yeah, I don't have any experience of like talking to another agent and bringing it up and being like, "Oh, have you looked into Real?" or anything like that. I feel like it gets brought up because I'm talking about it so much. So like this other agent, if it was, this is what I would do is I would befriend them on Instagram, and they would see all this content that I'm putting out, which I know that you like. I know everyone, like, this isn't their main focus, so like all of their content isn't going to be about Real, but I do think that if people made the effort to just sprinkle it in and how you're liking it and you're excited about it, and there was this thing and this thing and this thing that was like helpful for you and your business, that's a way to like provide value for them to see it behind the scenes where you're not actually even having to reach out. I wouldn't really know how to navigate that conversation of like, "Hey, have you thought about Real?" or have you looked into Real? Like, I think if that agent brought it up to me, I'd be like, "I'm actually really, I love the brokerage that I've been at. You've been here for like almost 3 years,
Yeah.
right?"
Yeah.
So like mentioning that, and if you ever want to chat about Real, let me know.
Yeah.
Did you befriend her on, or like follow her on Instagram?
She's an older agent and she doesn't really do. Yeah. So like I actually did just have a conversation yesterday with an agent who she's a mom to young kids, and she found me through the Holistic Mom page I'm part of. It was like something I had posted. I don't know even what the post was, but she like just wanted, like, just had to like chat with me, and it wasn't about any of that. And then we started talking, and she was saying how like little support she was getting, and just a lot of the things that were inadequate about her brokerage. And I have a document that I made that has it has a slide deck on it. It has the training calendar. So if anyone doesn't know this, if you send someone the training calendar, and I'm more than happy to share the link in the Facebook group so everyone has it. But if you send them the training calendar, they can watch any of the trainings live. And I think it's a really great way for someone to really check out Real, because like I came from Keller Williams, which was like the training company. And for me, I just feel like I personally feel like the training is really great at Real, and I'm getting more out of the training now. So I think someone seeing it firsthand would be really beneficial. And so they can see the trainings live, but they can't watch any of the recorded ones, of course. So they're able to see a visual of the calendar. Like you said, Stevie, they can see there's 4+ trainings every single day. So that's going to be a huge thing, even if they don't hop on a call. But they can go on a Zoom and they can listen, and they can see if it matches with what they're looking for in training. And I think that's a big piece of it. It's not like you have to walk into a new brokerage blind, because I know it is such a big deal. So that's a big thing. So yeah, I have a document that has those links, And then I have some videos. I need to do one myself, but I literally have I have a video from like Sharon.
Yeah.
I have a video with Tamir in it. I have videos of agents who made the switch. I think you're on there, Stevie. So I have like people, and it's good so you can see different perspectives. Like I have one of like my sponsor was really high up in EXP, and he came over. Stevie, you were at Keller Williams, and there's a video you talk about the differences. So I think it's good to have a sort of like resource that is a little bit more personalized that you can send. So that's kind of what I've been doing, but sometimes it's like not, yeah, I think me just avoiding having that conversation is fine.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, if I have a little bit more, content in stories or whatever that talks a little bit more about real and behind the scenes and stuff, that would probably be helpful.
I've had a good bit of people from the Coffee and Contracts group join me from Real, just from me responding back to questions that they have. And then it's like, okay, it kind of gets to be like too much in the post. So they'll end up DMing me or I'll DM them and we're like diving in deeper into whatever their question is. And then it's kind of like we become friends and then we're connecting on Instagram. And then it's like, okay, tell me about this brokerage that you're at. So I think really there's a way to leverage these Facebook groups. And there's another one that I feel like I've done good in is the Moms in Real Estate Facebook group is pretty busy and active. So just like providing value for other agents, like no expectation, just literally helping them with their business, answering questions. And it's like so simple, doesn't take a lot of time, and I can do it from home. So I love that. Okay, so let's get into the next topic, which is like what to do when an agent reaches out and they're like, hey, I'm interested in Real, or can I chat about this? Can you tell me more about it? I would say one thing that I've really learned, because at first I was like, there's all this stuff about Real that I can share with you, 85-15 split, $12,000 cap, and there's these trainings, like it can just be really overwhelming. And so what's been really helpful for me is I'm like, I don't even answer any questions. I'm like, can we get on a Zoom call? Because I feel as though it's just so much more personal. And so basically my first goal is like, instead of info dumping, I'm scheduling a Zoom call with them ASAP. The only thing I'm sending them ahead of time is that landing page, so that if they've never heard of Real, at least it like breaks down like the main structure of it. And then I'm not having to like go over all that content on the call. I can kind of just answer questions on it if they have any. But so that's the only thing I'm like setting up a Zoom call with them. Like that's my main goal. Just like with a buyer seller, it's like set the appointment and set it for soon, not like a week from now or 2 weeks from now. I try to like set it like I'm like, hey, I'm free now or I'm free tomorrow, and I'll set them up on a Zoom link, and the only thing I send them is that landing page. Okay, and then on the call, I really try to make it about them. At first, I feel like I was like, me, here's what I've done. I've been in the real estate 10 years. Okay, I've been with Real over 2 years. Okay, here's all the things about Real. And I decided, basically, probably from a lot of the training that I've watched, it's like, hey, it's not about me. And it's not about me trying to sell them on me or on Real. Because one, I don't want that pressure, and I feel as though it's not for everybody. And so I just don't want to like sell anyone on anything. So I've really switched up my approach, where I'm just, honestly, you need to get to know the person. And it's about building that relationship with them. So if you don't know them that well, it really learn more about them. And a couple questions that I make note of, that I make sure that I ask when I'm on the call with them, is because I want to learn about them and their business, is like, where are they currently? Because like they're struggling with something right now, and it's like, where are you at? And like, what is working in your business and what is not working in your business? What do you feel like you are missing at your current brokerage? And I'll also ask them, why do you think Real could be a good fit? And then another question I make note of is like biggest problem that they need to solve in their business. So sometimes I'm not asking all of these questions, but I like to have these questions as like a guideline. But a lot of times, people love to talk about themselves. So when you ask them where they're at, like they're going to go on with their whole real estate life journey story. And I love that. That's great because that gives me so much information. I can get to know them better. I can learn more about them. And like, okay, I feel as though Real has so much to offer, but it doesn't pertain to everybody, like even the revenue share, even stocks. Like I don't need to go over those things in a conversation if that's something that isn't important to them. If they tell me like, okay, they're not getting any support at their brokerage, well, let me hone in on that pain point and go over what the support looks like here at Real. So every conversation is so different because every agent is so different on where they're at and what their goals are. And I really just listen, take notes, and figure out how can I be helpful for them and kind of point them in the right direction, not so much like selling them on myself or on Real. So I think those questions will be really, really helpful to be able to highlight how Real can solve their pain points. And really, I'm just like talking to them on the Zoom call, like as if I would talk to anybody, as a friend, and just getting to know them and just sharing the resources. So when I'm on the call, a lot of times I'm taking notes. I'm like taking notes about things that are important to them, pain points, because this is going to be really helpful with the follow-up strategy. Because I feel like if you have the Zoom call with somebody, but then you never talk to them again, it's likely they might not reach back out. So when I'm on the call with somebody, I always send them an email after, basically highlighting a lot of things that we had discussed. I might be sending that landing page again to them just to like reference like where the application is if they would like to join. And then sometimes they're asking me questions that I don't know the answer. So I feel as though that's totally okay because I'm not coming on here like I don't work for Real. So I don't know everything. I'm really just sharing my experience and trying to help them in that way. That sometimes people ask me something, I'm like, hey, I don't know. But just like with working with a buyer or seller, it's like you might not know everything about that house that you showed the buyer, but let me go back. Let me look at the seller's disclosure. Let me talk to the listing agent. Let me get these answers. And I think being resourceful and getting those answers for them quickly will be really helpful. And I include that in the email. And if you don't know an answer to something, like feel free to reach out to me because I'm happy to help provide support with if I know the answer or to point you in the right direction. So yeah, on the email, I always send a follow-up, get their email. I'll share the link. I'll answer any questions. And then there's ways to stay top of mind. So, sometimes I do get on calls with agents that are like, okay, I'm ready to go. Send me the link. I'm ready to apply. And it's like, I don't even have to think about a follow-up strategy with them. But some people take months. There's one girl who just joined me that I talked to her about Real 2 years ago. So I think there are ways to stay top of mind with agents and provide value to them. So like when you're having that Zoom call with them, if they're talking about like leveraging, they need an assistant, they need help. Well, we have like trainings on that, like whatever their pain point is, maybe finding a training every couple of weeks that you think would be helpful for them to send to them. Hey, I saw this training because, agents can hop on live. If you're interested in this, like it's just a way to be able to help them and in their business and to stay top of mind and provide value. And I like to just truly connect with them authentically and build that real relationship with them. So if I'm connected with them on social media and they share an Instagram story that I think is cute or funny, or I can relate to it, like I'm commenting back, I'm conversating with them just as I would as my neighbor, right? And so I think that's another really good way to stay top of mind. You can always invite them to our mastermind calls that we do. You can invite them to our yearly conference. If they're local, like get together with them, get coffee, shoot content together. I know a lot of agents are really into that and they want support with that. They want to be able to go out with someone to be able to do that. So if you're chatting with a local agent, I think like just getting coffee and, we're not even talking about Real. We're just hanging out and building that relationship with them. So just continue engaging with them and supporting their business. So I know we talked a lot about this. Quick recap and takeaways is just to focus on value and not recruiting, and to continuously show, don't just tell, share your real experience in a natural way. Build meaningful relationships. This is about a partnership and it's not, about the numbers. It's like, just like with your buyers or sellers, like you are wanting to really build a meaningful relationship with them. Guide the conversation when you're on the Zoom call, make it about them, not you. Follow up, stay connected, and nurture those relationships. So, any questions? I feel like I just talked your guys' ear off with all of that. What time is it? Oh, it's already almost 11. It goes by so fast. Okay, so did anyone feel inspired from this call? You can tell me. Did you get any good ideas or planning on any
Yeah,
type
I took a lot of notes and now I need to follow through.
Yeah. I think taking the content ideas and the inspo and the knowledge and honestly just making like the most simple plan. Like, I know we talked about ChatGPT like on another call. So I think, Amy, you have it where you could just give like these couple ideas that you have ChatGPT to make a weekly plan for you. So like on Tuesdays, I'm going to share just a screenshot about trainings and like that takes seconds. You could have ChatGPT come up with the title of like what to say on the Instagram story for you, like just like what I shared with you guys earlier. And I think I think showing up on Instagram stories too is really helpful, like face to face. Like the screenshots are good and they're really easy, right? But showing up on video and talking about like what you're liking about it, the support. And once people know that, like, if you're sharing like helpful content for realtors, I think that's really helpful. Like, not even talking about real, but like what's working for you in your business? What has been helpful for you? Sharing tips and strategies on Instagram stories, and then also sprinkling the things about real. It's like, oh, okay, Amy's like willing to help me. Like, not every agent can you reach out to and ask a bunch of questions to, right? Like, hey, help me with this or elaborate on that. Like, once they see that you are, I think honestly, talking on Instagram stories just builds such credibility and talking on video. And you don't even have to be this top producing agent, but if you're willing to help other realtors, they are going to gravitate towards that and they're going to want to learn more. And I'm really seeing that. And I just started focusing this on in August, and like I think having the mindset of like it's going to take time. Okay, it's going to take time for me to continuously show up, provide value, to build that trust with people to want to reach out to me. And then it takes time to like get on the Zoom call. And then it takes time to nurture. It takes time for them to join Real. It takes time for them to have a closing. So I think like just setting the expectation of doing this in the long game, right? Like it's not this quick, I'm going to start talking about all these agents are going to be flocking to my DM and they're going to join, they're going to have all these closings. Like, it's work, just like with buyers and sellers. But if you're already doing that with buyers and sellers, it's just a great way to like sprinkle in the brokerage that you're with, right? Man, I'm like so excited about all the things with Real and revenue share. I could talk about it for so long because it's literally my main focus. So if you guys like get an agent who reaches out to you and you're like, I don't know how to gauge this conversation or how to answer this question, like message me. I'm like your girl in your back pocket to help you with all of this. And even if you want me to hop on the Zoom call with the agent, I know some people will be watching the replay. I know y'all have been with Real for a little bit, but there's some like brand new agents who are attracting people. And it's like, how can they really talk about Real if they just joined? And they'll put me on the call. It's like, hey, I have been here for over 2 years. I do have some experience with support, and I'm able to like, not lead the call for you, but just be there to help answer questions or be like, help guide the conversation if needed.
I think this is really good. So I have a lot of notes too, and especially like the verbiage that with what to say. And Allison, like what you were saying about, I think you said that she's an older agent and she wasn't on social media, right?
Yeah.
Because Stevie was like, yeah, just put it out there. Because Stevie, our approaches are very similar. And I'm wondering, like, I just did my human design thing. Have y'all ever heard of that? It's kind of like,
No.
It's all right. So it's a human design footprint or imprint or something like that. And it's kind of like astrology. Like it has to do about like time that you were born. But
cool.
I'm what's called a projector. So I project all this. All right. I do a lot of videos. I do a lot of social media. I put it all out there and I wait for people to call me. All right. So and your approach seems very similar to that. And so, Allison, I like what you said, like All right, so Stevie does videos. She's just like, hey, this is what I do. It's the greatest. Let me know if you're interested. But with this girl, this woman that's not on social media, and she reached out to you and told you how much she liked doing the transaction with you,
Yeah.
like taking something, maybe we could do something like, let's say there was a sewer line issue and be like, I can't believe that sewer line issue. I'm so glad that my brokerage has this training on it. You have to see it. It's the greatest. You know what? I'm just going to send it to you. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you make it like
yeah.
a part of the conversation instead of being like, oh, we have this really good training at Real. Are you happy with the brokerage that you're with? And like all the cringy stuff that nobody ever wants to say and nobody ever wants to hear. You know,
Yeah.
like the other brokerage that was discussed earlier, you know, I didn't even want to be near them because I was afraid they were going to be like, what challenges are you experiencing with your current brokerage? You know?
Yeah.
It just made me really turned off by that. But I think like what you're saying, and I said, please post the training program calendar that you had mentioned. I think by doing something like conversationally like that, if they're not on social media a lot, and just linking something that happened in the transaction, like I cannot believe
Yeah.
the title company. I'm so grateful I have this training. I'm going to send it to you because it's just the greatest, you know?
Yeah.
And that way you can make that connection without being like, oh, are you happy with your current brokerage? I'm glad that we
Yeah. Yeah.
too, because it kind of ruins the whole I had a great transaction. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
the other agent says that to you and they're like, oh, I really loved working with you. And then you try to recruit them. It kind of like tinges the relationship.
Yeah.
But by relating to something that happened in the transaction with, hey, I'm going to provide even more value to you outside of the transaction. Here you go. And then that will be like, oh wow, look at this training that this brokerage has. So
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I was making notes. I'm going to share basically everything that we talked about. I already have it all written out. And those like chat GBT prompts, I'll share them in the Facebook group right now. And I will put together this replay and I'll have it in the Facebook group too. And yeah, I think that's that, right?
Thank you, Stevie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right. Oh wait, let's take a picture. Oh, I can't forget. Especially after giving you guys all those ideas. Okay, let's see your beautiful smiles. Okay, got it. I'll tag y'all.
all right.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording. And we'll chat soon. Okay, bye.
Bye.